Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author and mental health educator. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. The title of today's video is, as I read it here, "You Are Not the Only One." Before we explore what that means and how it's relevant, we have to tell our weekly, or regular pun/joke. Anyway, two atoms are walking side by side. One trips and falls. He says, "Oh no, I think I've lost an electron." "Are you sure?" asked the other. "I'm positive." Kind of reminds me of old physics class. Anyway, title is called "You Are Not Alone," or "You Are Not the Only One." Both kind of fit here. And those of us who suffer from depression knows what a terrible malady it is. It's kind of a curse. It robs us of our will to live, our joy, our passion, all sorts of things, our energy. What makes matters even worse, though, is that oftentimes people with depression have this sense of isolation because they feel, I must be the only one who feels this way. It's kind of, it's rather abnormal. There's no one else like me. And as a result of this feeling of isolation and being misunderstood, this prevents them from seeking the help they need. Now, does any of this pertain to you? Do you sometimes feel that you're the only one who has mental health challenges or has a diagnosis or is suffering in this way? Well, I have some good news. Many years ago, the Surgeon General, who's like the chief doctor in the United States, went ahead and did a bunch of research, and he found out that over the course of a lifetime, 50% of all Americans will be diagnosed with some sort of mental health disorder, such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, OCD, addiction, etc. 50%. That's a big chunk of people. And so you're in good company, right? You're in good company. And this reminds me of the story of my close friend Noah, who's a videographer who often contributes to this channel, has a great channel of his own. Very interesting story. Years ago, actually over a decade ago, he was given a medication which he had an adverse reaction to, and it did to him what it did to me. Or similar medication did to me. It put him in an agitated depression like this. I mean, he got so agitated, so anxious, and depressed at the same time, he became suicidal. So, he checked himself into the psych ward here in Portland, St. Vincent Hospital, which is where I actually ended up, in the room next to his years ago. But anyway, he checked himself in the hospital, and during his stay, someone gave him a copy of my memoir, "When Going Through Hell, Don't Stop," that I had published recently, which is, the subtitle is A Survivor's Guide to Overcoming Anxiety and Clinical Depression, about my episode and how I recovered. And he read that book, and when he got out of the hospital, he came to my group, my support group, and on the first night he said, "You know, Doug, I want to tell you your book saved my life." "How so?" I asked. He said, "Look, until I read your book in the hospital that was given to me by some guardian angel, I thought I was the only one who had ever gone through something like this. I grew up around, kind of a normal functional family, or somewhat functional, but I had never experienced this kind of mental illness." He was quite young, or knew anybody who did. So I just thought I was some sort of freak. When I read your story, I realized, no, I was not alone. And if someone like you could get well, then I could get well. And that was really a big turning point. If you are not alone in your suffering, neither do you have anything to be ashamed of. You may be looking at your friends, your family, your relatives who are functioning well and say, why can't I be like them? Why am I struggling? What is wrong with me, right? Something's wrong with me internally. This reminds me of my mother, who often said, well-meaning, "Why can't you be like your brother and get a 9-to-5 job?" Well, I couldn't, because my anxiety was so great. I couldn't handle that type of stress. Neither could I get up early in the morning. And she also said, "You were born sick." And for many years, I internalized this judgment and felt like damaged goods. And then one day I realized, later on in life, that my mother was simply projecting her own shame about her own depression onto me. And that's why, she was saying those things. It really wasn't about me, it was about her, and I felt a weight lifted off my shoulder. Again, I ask, is there anything that I said that you can identify with? Do you feel that something is inherently wrong with you? Well, again, I have good news. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not defective, you are not damaged, you are not broken. Your illness is no different than any other illness. Just as diabetes is a disorder of the pancreas, arrhythmia is a disorder of the heart, depression and anxiety are disorders of the brain. The brain, the pancreas, the heart. There's really no difference among them, is there? And yet when the brain malfunctions, somehow we make value judgments. He's crazy, he's nuts, she has a loose screw. When you hear these kind of put-downs over the course of your life, you can feel less than and inferior, and again, a lot of shame. Well, I'm here to tell you it's time to put down that mantle of shame, because you're not your diagnosis, you're not abnormal, you are simply a normal person battling an abnormal condition. And for that act of courage, you deserve praise and not condemnation. This has been Douglas Bloch. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you feel better, less alone, less ashamed after you're seeing it. Before I sign off, I want to tell you about two amazing documentaries that talk about this subject that just happened to come out at the same time. The first is called Hiding in Plain Sight, produced by the great documentarian Ken Burns. It's on PBS television streaming. Follows the lives of 20 young people with mental illnesses and how they overcame them. And the second documentary is called, what is it called? It's by Oprah Winfrey. Oh, it's called The Me You Can't See. The Me You Can't See, created by Oprah Winfrey and Prince Harry, the son of Princess Diana, who went through his own depression when his mom died. And this is streaming on Apple TV. Same idea, stories, profiles of courage of people who overcame mental and emotional disabilities and trauma. So they're inspirational, and it's amazing that these kinds of things are coming out now, really to help dissolve the shame and stigma of mental illness. And it's wonderful that we're hearing these people tell their stories. So, hope you get a chance to watch them. Again, if you like this video, please give it a like. Likes draw more people to this channel. If you want to leave a comment, do so in the comments section, or you can email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you want to subscribe to the channel, there's been a subscribe button all along. If you haven't punched it, you can basically go ahead and click on my photo during the closing credits. You'll be taken to the subscriber page where you can click on that little bell to the upper right, and you'll be notified every time I do a new video or a new live chat late in the day. And if you want to contribute to this channel and become a sustaining member, just click on the Patreon link, and for as little as $2 a month, you can become a monthly sustainer. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Remember, you are not alone, and you have nothing to feel ashamed of. See you next week.